Everyone, today I want to show you how to create VLANs on a Cisco switch, associate those interfaces with the VLANs we create, and then have inter-VLAN connectivity. I'm using Packet Tracer for this exercise. So to get started, I'll click on the 2960. Before I do that, as you can see, I already added all the different devices that we will be using in this exercise. I also added 4 PCs, and I added the designated IP addresses that will be used later in the exercise. So now I'll click on the 2960, the CLI. So um, once you open the CLI, you land in user mode. So you have to type the enable command to go from user mode to the configuration mode. Then once you are in configuration mode, you have to type config terminal. This takes you to global configuration mode, and this is where you will be making the changes to add those VLANs. So to add those VLANs, I will be adding 2 VLANs, so I'll do VLAN 10, then VLAN 20. Then if I exit out of this and do show VLAN brief, my 2 VLANs were created. Now what I need to do is associate some of these interfaces that are currently under the default VLAN, which is VLAN 1. So I will grab 5 interfaces per VLAN. So the way you do that is actually very simple. So you go back to global config mode. So you do config T, then interface range fast ethernet /1 5. Then you assign these ports to those VLANs, to that VLAN. So we do that by using switchboard mode access mode access. Then we do switchboard access VLAN 10. So basically what I did just now is I added those 5 interfaces and I associated them with VLAN 10. So we need to do the same with VLAN 20. So I will do interfaces 6 through 10. So now I'm going to do switchboard mode access and then switchboard access VLAN 20. Alright, so those are the commands that you need. I'll click on end. Now if you run show VLAN brief, you will see that 5 interfaces were associated with each VLAN that we created earlier. Once we have our VLANs, we can start creating a link between the 2960 and the 2911 router. So in this case, I'm just going to grab gigabit Ethernet 1. I'll go back to the switch. So I'll click on the 2911 router, click CLI, I'll click on no. Again, we always LAN in user mode, so I want to do enable config terminal. Now what we want to do is actually, let me go back. So one useful command to take a look at the interfaces is show IP interface brief. So this lets us know the status of all of our interfaces. Currently I'm making use of interface 1, so that's the one I'll be using. So in order to have InterVLAN connectivity, we have to create two sub interfaces of the physical interface. That physical interface is gigabit 01. So let's do config t. And to create the sub interfaces, you do this. Then you have to select an encapsulation mode. In this case, it's going to be .1q, and then you associate it with VLAN 10. Notice that this sub interface can be just about any number, but in this case, I decided to just make it 10 so it can match my VLAN 10. But in reality, it can be any number. So now I will assign an IP address. So I'm going to give it 192.168.10.1, 255, 255, 255.0. No shut. I'll do the same with VLAN 20. So now let's do the encapsulation command. Let's do 20, and let's add an IP address. All right, our configuration is done. So now if we go back to configuration mode and run the command from earlier, show IP interface brief, you can see that now our sub interfaces have a IP address associated with them. So now what we want to do is work on interface gigabit 01, which is the uplink that is connected to our router. So in this case, I'll do configuration config terminal, then interface gigabit 01. I'll make it a trunk, switchboard mode trunk, no shut. All right, so as you can see, the reason why it didn't come up is because I forgot to basically initiate that interface on the router. So the way you do it is by config terminal interface G01, and then you do no shut. Now our interface will start coming up, both interfaces, the one on the switch, the one on the router, and I can do end. While that's happening, one thing I can do is start adding these computers to the different VLANs that we created. If we go back to the switch, just to verify our VLANs, we do show VLAN brief. So fast Ethernet 01 through 5 are associated with VLAN 10. So these two belong to VLAN 10. So I will connect them to those interfaces. So 01, 02. Now let's add these. So for VLAN 10, it goes from fast Ethernet 06 through fast Ethernet 010. All right, so now we're just waiting for STP to finish its process. We will be touching on STP in later lessons. All right, the SDP process has finished. So now one thing we can do is we need to do a test and to see if we can ping our, um, if we have, first I need to ping PCs within the same VLAN. So I will ping, right now this is computer 192.168.10.10, so I'm going to ping 192.168.10.11. Okay, it seems to be working. And now the final test is to see if we actually have InterVLAN connectivity. So we do that by pinging one of the PCs in VLAN 20. So we do this by pinging one of those computers, and we'll see if this is going to work. Voila. So as you can see, we do have InterVLAN connectivity. So that means our configuration is working. Um, so basically what you have to do when it comes to creating VLANs, adding interfaces to those VLANs, and having that InterVLAN connectivity, you just have to make sure that you create sub interfaces for each VLAN and make sure that the uplink from the switch going into the router, make sure that's set as a trunk. Uh, and the next video we will take a look at how we can make sure that only certain traffic from certain VLANs it goes through that uplink, as well as how to change the the native VLAN from VLAN 1 to any other number other than VLAN 1. So this is it for this video. Thank you for watching.